remember as a boy talking to my dad about rainbows, and every time I see a rainbow, I think about the story of where rainbows come from. And there's a few places in the Bible where prophets had visions of God on the throne. And in those visions, there's a rainbow described around the throne of God. And my dad said, you see how big that rainbow is? They look like they're miles between one end of the rainbow and the other. He says, God's throne has one of those all the way around it. And then I have an idea or a scale of what it must be like to see God on his throne. It's going to be an awe-inspiring day when we see him for the first time. I stand amazed in the presence. I stand amazed in the presence of Jesus the Nazarene.